As I slowly opened my eyes, the bright sunlight pierced through my skull like 1,000 daggers. I groggily sat up, rubbing my temples in a futile attempt to alleviate the throbbing headache. Where was I? The last thing I remembered was attending a lecture on ancient civilizations at the prestigious Historians Guild. I must have dozed off and somehow ended up here. I looked around, taking in my surroundings. I was in a crowded market. The sounds of merchants hawking their wares and the smell of exotic spices filling the air. People of all shapes and sizes hurried past me, their faces a blur as I struggled to regain my bearings. I stumbled to my feet, my eyes scanning the crowd for any sign of familiarity. That's when I saw her, my best friend and fellow historian. Elara. She was standing across the market, her long, curly brown hair tied back in a ponytail as she expertly haggled with a vendor over the price of a rare scroll. I pushed through the crowd, relief washing over me as I reached her side. Elara, thank the gods I found you, I exclaimed, grasping her arm. She turned to me, concern etched on her face. Aria, what happened? You were supposed to meet me at the guild hours ago. Where have you been? Quote. I shook my head, still trying to clear the cobwebs. I don't know. I must have gotten lost in time again. Elara's eyes widened in alarm. We were both time-traveling historians, and getting lost in the Timestream was a constant risk. But this was different. I had a feeling that something was off, that I had been brought here for a reason. And then, I saw him, a tall, imposing figure with piercing blue eyes and jet black hair. He was standing at the edge of the market, his gaze fixed intently on me. My heart sank as I realized who he was. Malakai. The infamous Shadow Weaver. Malakai was a master of dark magic, feared throughout the kingdom for his ability to manipulate the very fabric of reality. And he was my greatest fear. I had written extensively about his exploits, and I knew that he would stop at nothing to eliminate anyone who threatened his power. Elara followed my gaze, her hand instinctively going to the dagger at her belt. Aria, we need to get out of here. Now. But it was too late. Malakai had already spotted us, and he was making his way through the crowd with an unnerving smile on his face. We tried to lose him in the winding alleys of the market. But Malakai was relentless. He seemed to know the layout of the market better than we did, always staying one step ahead of us. Elara and I exchanged a desperate glance. We were running out of options. And then, I remembered a trick I had learned from my research on ancient magic. I grabbed Elara's hand, and together we ducked into a nearby stall. The vendor, a kindly old man, looked up at us in surprise as I began to rummage through his wares. I found what I was looking for. A small, intricately carved wooden box. I opened it, revealing a puff of smoke that quickly dissipated, leaving behind a faint glow. The glow was a magical signature, one that I had studied extensively. I knew that it would disrupt Malakai's magic, giving us a small window of opportunity to escape. Elara's eyes widened in understanding as I handed her the box. Use it to distract him, I whispered. She nodded, and together we made a break for the edge of the market. Malakai was hot on our heels, but Elara cleverly used the box to create a diversion, drawing his attention away from me. As we emerged from the market, I felt a surge of relief wash over me. We had outwitted Malakai, at least for the time being. But as we caught our breath, I realized that something was off. The sky seemed different. The buildings seemed taller. And then, it hit me. We weren't in the same kingdom anymore. The market, the people, everything was different. Elara's eyes met mine, a look of confusion and fear on her face. Aria, where are we? She whispered. I shook my head, my mind reeling with the implications. We had traveled not just through time, but through dimensions, and I had a feeling that we were just beginning to scratch the surface of a much larger adventure.